Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with All Things Barbecue, and this is Smoke Roasted Spatchcock Turkey. All right, if you don't know already, spatchcocking is my favorite way to cook a turkey. I think that it cooks the most even in the same amount of time and gives you a really nice and juicy product. Now we're gonna be cooking a slightly larger bird this year, about 14 pounds, still not super big. I get questions all the time. How long does it take to cook a 24-pound bird? You know what I'd rather do? Cook two 12-pounders. They taste better, they cook faster, and they cook more evenly. So the first thing we gotta do to get into this is actually take that backbone out, the spatchcocking process. First things first, this thing, get rid of it. We're gonna be cooking this bird to a pretty specific temperature, about 160 in the breast, 170 in the thighs and legs. So that little doohickey, you can throw it in the trash. All right, so we're starting with the bird breast up. This is the way you're used to seeing a whole bird. To spatchcock it, we need to flip it over, find the backbone, and then you want to take your poultry shears, cut right along the side of the backbone. It's really important to have a nice pair of shears to get this job done, because this doesn't happen as easy as it does with a chicken. And then I'm going to spin it around and go back the other way. If you're going to run into trouble, it's right around this thigh bone. You can use a little bit of muscle or try to go around. So there's our backbone, and we're not going to get rid of this. We're going to use this to make some turkey stock today. We don't really need any of those innards though. Now, the next thing I want to do is flip this over and get rid of the wishbone. I'm going to dig out some of this fat so you can see this a little more clearly. But this right here, that white bone, that's the wishbone. And if we get rid of it, we can actually slice slices right off the breast when this is done. So I'm just going to follow right along the edge of this bone all the way to the end. Slide right through the end there. Sorry, this gets a little tough to see. One tiny more cut, there we go. Pull it right out. It's not as much fun to fight over it now, but there it is. Now if you come into where we just removed that wishbone, right down there in that point, stick your shears in there and give it a snip. Now that's gonna help us lay this thing flat. Because the whole point of doing this spatchcock style is to get everything on the same level, all nice and even. Perfect. I'm dropping the bird into our briner bucket, which is where we're gonna do our brining. And now we'll begin to prepare our brine. The brine bath that we're using for this turkey is from Sweetwater Spice. It's a classic holiday flavor profile. And the reason we call it a brine bath rather than just a brine is because while it is going to use the salt to brine the bird, it also has an apple base, which is going to give it a little bit of acidity, so there's some marinating properties there as well. Now, I really love the flavor profile of this product. I mean, like I said, it's got that apple base, so there's that touch of sweetness, but it's the savory stuff that really sticks out to me. The onion, the sage, the rosemary, and then you even get little hints of celery and a little citrus to brighten everything up. Now this is concentrated, so we're gonna start off by adding the concentrate over the bird, and then we're gonna dilute it a little bit. So we got 1 part concentrate to 1 part water. And then we're gonna fortify this with an additional saltwater brine. I've got 1 quart of water here that I'm gonna add a ½ cup of kosher salt to. And I'm just gonna shake this up to dissolve it. All right, looking good. And we'll pour this salt water over the bird as well. And from here, you can add up to 1 gallon of water, and this brine's gonna be great. And what I mean by that is that if you need more water to cover the bird, After a gallon, that's when you would start adding additional concentrate or additional salt. But as you can see here, that 1 additional gallon should be just about right. So let's just kind of move things around. I'm gonna stir this with the bird, I guess. Make sure that this thing is fully submerged. Lock in the plate to keep it down. And it's ready to hit the fridge. You're gonna brine your bird 1 hour per pound. So for me, that's 14 hours, which means I'll see you tomorrow morning. Now I wanna get into making some turkey stock. Now this turkey stock's really perfect for making your turkey gravy when it comes time to do that. But what we're gonna be using it for is a little bit later in this video, we're gonna make a sausage stuffing. First, we're gonna make our mirepoix, which is essentially 2 parts onion to 1 part carrot and 1 part celery. The great thing about stock is you don't have to be very pretty with your cuts, and you can go fairly large. Looks like about 2 to 1 to 1. So on top of this, we're gonna need some aromatics. This is parsley stems. We got some fresh thyme, a couple of bay leaves, and then about a tablespoon of black peppercorns. Before we throw everything into the pot, I wanna take the backbone and the neck, chop them down into some more manageable sized pieces that we can sear off first to create some fond in the bottom of that pan. I don't need the excess fat from this skin to be in my stock, so I'm just gonna go ahead and remove it. The stock pot is super hot right now. I'm gonna put down just a little bit of oil, and then we're gonna get these pieces in here to begin to sear. See, as we get that nice sear on each one, we'll kind of turn these around. That way we can get that sear on all sides. All right, for the moment, I'm going to take these turkey parts out so that we can get our mirepoix in here and scrape up some of the fond off the bottom of this pot. You can see that nice color in there. That's gonna add a lot of flavor to our stock. What's happening right now is some of that moisture is leaking out of these vegetables, and it's gonna start to break up that fond on the bottom. Now, if you take a wooden spoon with a nice flat side on it, you can help work that process a little faster. So a lot of times you might use a little liquid to help kind of deglaze the pan, but as you can see, there's enough liquid down there coming out of these veggies that we're getting all the fond off the bottom. So I'm gonna let this just continue to work, sweat these veggies until those onions are translucent, and then we'll add in our turkey again, as well as our aromatics and our water. That's 1 gallon of water in there, and I'm gonna gently simmer that, very gently, until it's reduced by half, which is gonna take several hours. It's early the next morning after brining this turkey all night, and we're gonna get the turkey out of the brine now to dry out. Now when I say dry out, what I'm talking about is the skin. The drier we can get the skin, the crispier it will be in the end. We're actually gonna let this sit in the refrigerator to dry out. Ideally, you would do this 12 to even 24 hours. For us, we've probably got 8 to 10 that we can let it sit and still get this cooked this evening for you guys to see. The other thing I wanna make today is a sausage stuffing, and that all starts with the bread, which we have to get dried out. So we're gonna start off with a loaf of French bread, about 2 pounds here. I'm gonna cube it up and get it onto the cooker to dry out for a while. So I'm just gonna slide this onto the smoker. It's running at about 275 right now. We'll let it dry out for about an hour. So all of our bread is now dried out, just a little bit crunchy. Let's go ahead and put together the rest of the stuffing. We're gonna start off with a really hot skillet and put down 1 pound of country pork sausage. Now while this sausage is browning, we're gonna prep our veggies. We're starting off with some leeks. We wanna use just the white and light green parts. So we'll cut these into little half moons and then soak them in water to get the dirt off of them. All right, so we want to go for roughly 1 cup of leeks total. And we're just going to let these soak, and all that dirt's going to fall to the bottom, and then we can pull these out of the top and they'll be nice and clean. All right, sausage is brown, so let's take this out and set it aside. I'm going to leave this bit of fond behind and actually drain some of that grease back in there to cook our veggies in. We're also going to have carrots in our stuffing today, but the possibilities are really endless. I mean, any kind of root vegetable would be great in here. I'm going to start cooking the leeks and the carrots while we finish prepping the rest of the aromatics. Now that this is all softened and cooked down, I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of garlic and a teaspoon each of fresh thyme, minced sage, and minced rosemary. Oh, and that garlic aroma is coming out immediately. This smells fantastic. We're awakening all of the aroma in the herbs as well. Just need to give this garlic a minute to cook. And then I'm going to hit it with just a little bit of white wine. Just about 3 or 4 tablespoons to kind of deglaze everything. Ooh, that smells good. And then I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of red pepper flakes. So that wine has reduced all the way down now. I'm going to add the sausage back to the skillet. Oh, it smells like Thanksgiving in a skillet right now. All right, with all of this cooked down, we're ready to combine it with that bread that we've dried out, with our turkey stock that we made yesterday. And this is all going to come together, put it into a skillet so it'll be ready to go on the grill to bake whenever that time comes. So we'll mix this all to incorporate it, and then we're going to begin adding our turkey stock until we get to the desired consistency. So as you recall, we reduced that turkey stock down from 1 gallon to about 2 quarts, reduced it by half. And then just went ahead and strained the solids through a sieve and a cheesecloth, and we have our finished product. Now what we're looking to do here is get this bread to soak up all that stock goodness. And we want these bread chunks to still hold some form. It's not going to be pure mush. But we do want them to be saturated with the stock. So this is a good example of what we're looking for. It still has its shape intact, but if we squeeze it, plenty of juice in there. And we ended up using right around 1 quart of that turkey stock. Let's have it taste before we finish this off. Ooh. I'll tell you the one thing you won't get if you buy your bread already dried out, or even if you dry it out in your oven, is the smokiness. It makes this stuffing really unique. I'm gonna add just a pinch of salt and then a couple eggs to hold everything together. All right, so once we've got this all mixed up, we're gonna go back to our skillet, which has been wiped out and greased down. Just spread this out evenly. And that is our smoky, savory sausage stuffing ready to go onto the grill. This turkey skin is as dry as we're going to get it today, so we're ready to move on to the seasoning. The first thing I'm gonna do is start to pull this skin away from the flesh. Now we're not gonna remove it, but we do need to get our seasoning all the way down in here. So now you can see all that flesh is exposed and we can get seasoning underneath the skin. We're gonna do the same thing over here on the thighs and the legs. We wanna be careful not to tear this. Usually if you just push just right, there we go. Slides right out. The seasoning we're using on this bird is Cattleman's Grill Ranchero seasoning, and I'm really excited about it. I love this rub. I got to help Cattleman's develop this rub, and it's designed to be a poultry rub. And some of you guys have seen this seasoning featured in a recipe video a while back. Since then, here in the store, I've been getting some really great feedback. Thank you guys, appreciate that. For those of you not in the Wichita area that want to get your hands on some Cattleman's Ranchero, pick it up at atbbq.com. So we'll start by getting underneath the skin with our Ranchero. And there's a lot of meat here, so we can be fairly liberal with our seasoning. And essentially anywhere where we see flesh, that's where we're putting our rub. Cover that back up. Now once everything under the skin is seasoned, I'm going to transfer this over to a foil-lined sheet pan, and this is what we're going to actually be cooking this on. And we can get the skin side, the top side, seasoned. Couple of finishing touches. Just going to move this wing back so this is all nice and compact. We could actually snip it off if we wanted to, but this is actually going to help it hold all together a little closer and cook a little bit more evenly. Last thing I want to do, I'm just going to pin this skin down right here, try and keep it from shrinking up on me too much. All right, that's ready to go to the grill. We're cooking our turkey on a Yoder Smokers YS640 pellet grill. It's set to 375 degrees, so we're doing a hot roast today. And while we're doing that hot roast, we're gonna add a little bit of extra smoke flavor to really pound that in there since we're gonna have a shorter cook time. We're gonna do that with an amazing smoke tube and some pellets. So we'll slide our bird up here onto the second shelf and then fill our tube with some pellets. So let's get this thing lit right down here on the firebox side. At 375 degrees, we should be able to get the skin just how we want it. And with that smoke tube in there, we're not gonna lose out on any of the smoke flavor. Now, this is what the bird looks like in an hour and a half. We're getting some really beautiful color around here on the thighs, the legs. Just been rotating this every once in a while to make sure that it colors evenly. All right, so we're gonna try and find the coldest spot. There we go. Right in the middle, 135. So we've got another 20 to 30 degrees that we could go. At this point, we're gonna put the stuffing in. And that stuffing will warm up and get a nice crust on the top as the bird finishes cooking and then rests after the cook. Well, here we are about 2 hours and 15 minutes into the cook. 158, we're getting in the deepest part of the breast, which is perfect. The thighs are done. We're ready to pull this bird off. Look at that beautiful color on there. Crispy skin, smoky flavor. This came out just right. We'll have a look at our stuffing while we're at it. It's getting browned on top. Plenty warm. We can serve it now if we want to. We'll probably just leave this in to get a little extra crust on it while we tint some foil on top of the turkey to rest. All right, this turkey's been resting a good 45 minutes now, so we're gonna slice into it and just kind of talk about the different ways that we can take this bird apart. So probably the easiest place to start is by removing the thighs and leg. And that's really simple. With a sharp knife, just come right in between and it comes right off. Of course, that's a massive serving, so you probably want to separate these as well, which is really easy. So as you bend this joint pops out and you cut right in between there. Separated, ready to serve. On the breast, I'm going to start by getting rid of those toothpicks that we put in there, which did a great job of holding that skin right where we wanted it. And then I'm going to remove the wings. So again, we're looking for a joint that we can cut right through. There we go, we pop that out, and that wing comes right off. That's a pretty good hunk of meat right there. And like I mentioned earlier, what this allows us to do by removing that wishbone is we can cut slices straight down through here. All the way down to the bottom, so you get these big, beautiful, look at that. Oh my gosh, look at all the juice in that thing. That's ridiculous. You can go right down through where the wishbone was to the rib cage, and you've got one big, beautiful slice right there. That's amazing. So, probably not serving these thighs whole. This is a good piece of meat that you can take apart and shred by hand. And then you just want to run it right back through these juices. It's going to soak up all of that good flavor coming out of there and make it even more moist. There you go. All right, this piece right here is calling to me. Oh, fantastically juicy. Love the ranchero flavor. And then we're getting all those holiday herbs, the sage, the rosemary, it's all coming out. I need a nap already. A little bit of that stuffing, some crust on top. Oh, still so moist, but with great crunch and great smoke. Along with that turkey, that's a winning combination. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments, or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below. And hey, let's be good to one another. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to thesauce.atbbq.com. And a good deal of these products you see used in these videos are available for purchase over at atbbq.com. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.